So many people are complaining right now that the EFCC's lawyer in an interview actually said they will use the army to arrest Yahaya Bello if necessary. Many people are complaining that why would the EFCC say that? And so I want to answer this question with another question. What did you expect the EFCC to do when the EFCC simply went to mount surveillance on the residence of Yahaya Bello and met over 30 armed security operatives there? According to what the EFCC chairman said on national TV, when the EFCC mounted their surveillance, there were DSS officers, there were police officers, armed security vigilante that were in the protection details of Yahaya Bello, armed to the teeth. In fact, from what the EFCC chairman said, if his operatives decided to be stubborn, there would have been exchange of gunfire that day. And of course, that could have led to needless loss of lives. So contrary to what the EFCC did in the case of Rocha Sokorocha or in the case of Dino Melaye, the EFCC decided to back down. In fact, from the reports that we initially had, we thought that the EFCC mounted a roadblock that Yahaya Bello's successor, Governor Dodo, actually breached. But it will appear from information just coming out now that it was not a roadblock, it was a surveillance. They didn't block the road. Because if they had blocked the road, the immunity of the Kogi governor was not sufficient for him to breach that barricade. So the road was not blocked. EFCC just mounted surveillance. But of course, because of the enormity, the large number of security men, armed security men, police, DSS, and the likes, that were in the security detail of Yahaya Bello, and to avoid armed confrontation, the EFCC decided to back down. It was not necessarily because the governor came and sneaked Yahaya Bello away. That was not why the EFCC backed down. It was, according to what the EFCC chairman explained, it was because the EFCC did not want a breakdown of order, did not want an armed confrontation based on the number of armed security personnel in Yahaya Bello's security details. So when the lawyer, who is abreast with this information, when the lawyer made that statement, he made it on the background of the number of security people that Yahaya Bello has on his payroll protecting him. You have a police officer, his ADC, that is supposed to understand the arrest procedure, still defending Yahaya Bello against the EFCC. That could have led to an armed confrontation. And if a uniformed police officer can do that, a DSS person is in the detail, you have other armed vigilante. What do you expect the EFCC to do? They will make a statement to say that, look, if all these armed people that are surrounding Yahaya Bello is what is giving Yahaya Bello the confidence to resist arrest, then they will be met force for force. And what greater force can you muster in Nigeria than the force of the military? It was just supposed to be a subtle warning to Yahaya Bello and his security operatives that they should not even attempt to use force to defend Yahaya Bello to resist arrest. So all this talk, all this complaint that is out there against the EFCC, that why would they ask, or why would they say they will ask the army to assist in a simple arrest? It is based on the fact that Yahaya Bello has so many armed security operatives in his security details. That was why that statement was made. And now that the case is in court, is EFCC going around looking for Yahaya Bello to arrest? The answer is no. It's the Nigerian police or immigration service that put Yahaya Bello on their watch list. Are they going out with their operatives looking for Yahaya Bello under the bridge or inside the car and all that? They are not doing that. The case is already in court. So Yahaya Bello has the option to make himself available in the next adjourned date. If he doesn't, then we will know whether his armed security operatives will be able to stop his arrest. We should focus on issues, on substance, not technicalities. So Yahaya Bello is denying that EFCC invited him before EFCC carried out the attempted arrest on him in Abuja. He's denying that he has made this known through his lawyers, saying that the EFCC should provide the written letter of invitation that was signed and received by Yahaya Bello or his agents to prove that the EFCC actually really invited Yahaya Bello. That's what the lawyers are saying. So my question is this: is it that Yahaya Bello or his lawyers think that the only way that the EFCC can invite persons of interest is only through written letters? Is a written letter the only way, the only acceptable way through which the EFCC can invite persons of interest? Look, there are three ways through which the EFCC can invite persons of interest. And if Yahaya Bello doesn't know it, then I'll be very disappointed. Or maybe not so disappointed, because come on, it's Yahaya Bello that we're talking about. There are three ways. The written letter of invitation is only one of it. You have a phone call, which is another acceptable means. You have a text, SMS, whether SMS or WhatsApp message. Those are acceptable means of invitation. As it is with EFCC, so it is with the DSS, so it is with the police. These are acceptable means to contact any person of interest. So, if Yahaya Bello is insisting that the EFCC did not officially invite him, can Yahaya Bello or his lawyers answer this question? The EFCC chairman has come out to say categorically on video that he put a call across to Yahaya Bello. And from what we have seen, a call is an acceptable means of invitation. If Yahaya Bello is still denying that the EFCC did not invite him, can Yahaya Bello come out now, or through his lawyer, since he's afraid to come out or for fear of being arrested? Can he come out through his lawyers to confirm or deny that the EFCC chairman did not call him? Can he do that? And if it is true from what the EFCC chairman said that he indeed put a call across to Yahaya Bello, is that not an acceptable means of invitation? Does Yahaya Bello have the right to reject that kind of invitation because it is not written? Is Yahaya Bello above the law? If Yahaya Bello does not have anything to hide, why didn't he take that form of invitation as acceptable and then go to EFCC, answer whatever questions they have, and if worst case scenario he is detained, maximum 24 hours, 48 hours, 1 week, eventually he will be released? Because that's what happened with every former governors that we have seen that had issues with EFCC. So can Yahaya Bello say effectively that the EFCC did not invite him when it is on record that the EFCC put a call across to him? Let us be very careful what we defend. The EFCC, it's doing its job. I know that many of us have bias against the EFCC. I should have bias against the EFCC. I have gone through an ordeal with the EFCC, my wife and I know how harrowing that experience was. But at the end of the day, I know that the EFCC is only doing its job. Can the EFCC be overreaching sometimes? Of course, the EFCC can be overreaching sometimes. But in the case of Yahaya Bello at hand right now, before we argue that the EFCC did not invite Yahaya Bello, or while we are doing that argument, can we at least focus on the substance of the matter, noting that the EFCC can invite through calls, which the EFCC did? Can we focus on the substance of the matter? The allegations here are that 82 billion naira was laundered from government account. And out of that money, staff of the state house, government house in Kogi, were sent with some of the money to go to Bureau de Change, change the money to dollar, and EFCC says that Yahaya Bello used that money, $720,000 to pay for his child's school fees in advance, because he knows that he was leaving office in a few months. This was in January of 2024. For those of you arguing that, oh, the case that is filed or the charges that were filed against Yahaya Bello were from 2015, it is not true. Take the advice of the EFCC chairman. Go and apply for the CTC of the charges that are brought against Yahaya Bello. You see that this charge of laundering $720,000 is part of it. And that was in 2024, January, a few days before the handover of Yahaya Bello to current governor Ododo. Can we look at the substance of the matter? In a state like Kogi that is so poor, in a state like Kogi that civil servants suffered under the hands of Yahaya Bello for 8 years, receiving percentage salary, level 14 officers that are supposed to be earning 100,000 according to the state salary scale, were being made to go home with 20,000, 15,000 because of percentage salary. Sometimes they are given 10%, sometimes they are given 15%, sometimes they are given 20%, maximum 25%. In fact, in some months, the civil servants in Kogi are told by Yahaya Bello that the civil servant should dash him the salary. He doesn't even bother to pay. With all these things that have happened under Yahaya Bello, the suffering and the hardship that Yahaya Bello, true civil servants and the indigenous of Kogi into, with the poverty of Kogi, should we not focus on the substance of this case rather than on technicalities of whether there was an invitation or whether there was no invitation? Let's be careful here how we demonize the EFCC. The EFCC may not do things the way we like it sometimes, but when people have case to answer, they should be made to face and answer for their crimes or alleged crimes, as the case may be. If EFCC had arrested Yahaya Bello, worst case scenario, he stays there for 1 week. If they extend it beyond the normal 24 hours, what has he got to lose? Will he be the first governor to go through it? Did Obiano not go through it? Did Fayoshe not go through it? So many lawyers that went through it, and so many governors, former governors that went through it. So what's the big deal in Yahaya Bello being arrested? What is the big deal? That we are forgetting the substance of the matter and we are defending rubbish.